Well, you've had a bonjour, your school and homework is done. Now it's time for beaucoup de fun. Godard and Brecht, brawling romance. C'est très magnifique when all your friends are all here. We adore French New Wave until adieux n'est pipé. Bienvenue to les enfants. It's Truffaut for kids.
Oh, hi! Welcome back to Truffaut for Kids. I was just in the middle of watching one of my all-time favorite French New Wave films, Breathless. Is Breathless one of your all-time favorite French New Wave films?
Yes!
Of course it is. How could it not be? It is considered one of the leading examples of French New Wave, after all.
But Truffaut didn't direct Breathless.
That's right! Breathless was directed by Jean-Luc Godard, one of the other masters of French New Wave. But did you know that Francois Truffaut did write the story treatment for Breathless?
Yeah, I knew that.
Obviously you already knew that. You're just as big a fan of Francois Truffaut and French New Wave as I am. You know, I started this series because most YouTube content aimed at children is pure garbage. And perhaps most surprising, almost none of it has anything to do with French New Wave. Now, how is that even possible? Children love French New Wave. Or at least, I would have to assume. I don't have children of my own, nor do I work with children in any capacity. But if kids these days are anything like me when I was their age, then they are clamoring for French New Wave content aimed at a younger audience. I mean, just think about it. There must be millions of children out there searching for a show where they can discuss their favorite films by Francois Truffaut and other French New Wave filmmakers like Jean-Luc Godard, Jacques Rivette, Claude Chabrol, and Agnes Varda. And so, with Truffaut for Kids, I aim to fill that void. Now sure, I have gotten a few letters from children saying things like, "What is French New Wave? It looks boring." Or, "I'd rather watch Pootie Pie and Kinder Surprise Egg videos." But to be fair, I've gotten way more letters from children saying that the first episode didn't dive deep enough into the nitty-gritty of French New Wave. Apparently you kids really know your stuff, and think that the first episode was a little too entry-level, with too much stating the obvious. Hey, that's good to know. That means that now we can really get into the more advanced French New Wave topics. So I thought, let's kick things off with an in-depth look at the history of French New Wave and the events that led to it. And who better to teach us than our good friend and French Cultural Ambassador Estelle? Estelle is from Paris, which is where French New Wave was invented. Hi, Estelle.
Bonjour.
In French, bonjour means hello. Estelle, can you tell us about the history of French New Wave and its cultural impact on French cinema as well as cinema around the world?
Oui.
In French, oui means yes. Take it away, Estelle.
Alors la nouvelle vague est apparue en réponse aux événements qui ont suivi la Deuxième Guerre mondiale. En 1946, le Premier ministre français Léon Blum est parti à Washington pour négocier les accords Blum-Burn qui ont ouvert le marché français aux produits américains et plus spécialement en ce qui concerne les films américains. Avant ça, la France, pour protéger le cinéma français, avait mis en place des quotas qui limitaient le cinéma américain et le nombre de films qui pouvaient être montrés dans les cinémas. Après ça, les films hollywoodiens ont complètement pris le dessus du marché libre en France. Et des jeunes comme Romer et Truffaut et compagnie ont grandi avec le cinéma américain, en critiquant souvent le cinéma français pour son côté très traditionnel dans les cahiers du cinéma. Après ça, ils sont passés eux-mêmes derrière la caméra, nous apportant la nouvelle vague.
Okay. Estelle, are you able to repeat some of that in English?
Non.
Okay. Well, maybe we can meet up later and you can help me translate what you just said for the subtitles.
Non.
Okay, well, being from France, Estelle's French is definitely a little more advanced than mine, so it might make it hard for me to translate and add English subtitles. Someone's at the door. It's my neighbor Riley. Hi, Riley.
Hi, Colin. How's quarantine treating you?
Pretty good. I was just watching Breathless and discussing the history of French New Wave with my friends.
French French New Wave sure has made a lasting impression on cinema, especially its innovative approaches to editing, as is evident in films like Breathless.
Are you talking about Godard's unconventional use of jump cuts?
I am! I was discussing with my 4 children, who are all under the age of 10, how French New Wave revolutionized editing in film, and that's when my 6-year-old twins told me that the jump cut style in Breathless was actually a happy accident.
That's right! The original version of Breathless didn't contain any of the now famous jump cuts. Not until Jean-Luc Godard showed a rough cut of the film to Jean-Pierre Melville, who suggested Godard edit out any unnecessary slow scenes.
Yes, that's precisely what my twins told me. We sure do owe Jean-Pierre Melville a big thank you.
Let's do it right now!
Thank you, Jean-Pierre Melville! Anyway, I wanted to return your copy of Jules and Jim that my children borrowed. They loved it and wanted me to tell you it was pure electricity, magic, energy, and melancholy from start to finish.
Well, that is the standard reaction young children have after watching Truffaut's French New Wave classic, Jules and Jim.
So true. Oh, by the way, my oldest, Carol, is turning 8 years old today, so we're throwing her a little birthday party. French New Wave themed, obviously.
Have you gotten her any special birthday gifts?
I'm having a hard time finding the perfect gift, but she did mention she wanted a subscription to the Criterion Channel streaming service because all her friends have one.
That's great! The Criterion Channel has a ton of French New Wave films.
May I interject?
Of course, DVD player. What is it?
I actually think a subscription to the Criterion Channel might not be the best gift for a young child. While streaming services do have an incredible catalog of films at your disposal, the viewer ends up not having a strong emotional connection to any of the films they watch.
Interesting.
And while Criterion has impeccable taste and have really curated a wonderful selection of films,
They truly have.
No one's arguing with that.
if a child has access to everything, they won't appreciate anything. I'd suggest choosing a few DVDs of lesser-known French New Wave classics, and this way, she'll form a more personal bond with these films.
I love that idea. What lesser-known French New Wave classics would you recommend, DVD player?
Off the top of my head, I'd say Je t'aime by Alain Resnais, a sci-fi love story that's about as sophisticated and profound as it gets. The Fire Within by Louis Malle, a film that is a triumph of style as well as an unflinching examination of the human condition known as alienation. And La Pointe Courte by Agnes Varda, a film so bold and innovative that it remains way ahead of its time.
Those are some great suggestions.
Je t'aime, The Fire Within, and La Pointe Courte sound like the perfect birthday gifts for an 8-year-old. And I'll hold off on the subscription to the Criterion Channel until her 21st birthday, when she has a better understanding and appreciation of the sacred relationship between a film and its viewer. Colin, can I have the DVDs shipped here so Carol doesn't stumble upon them before it's time to open her gifts?
Sure.
Thanks, bye!
Bye. Great recommendations, DVD player. And very insightful. I guess I never really thought about how all these new streaming services can really affect how a viewer experiences a film.
Kids these days prefer to stream movies on their laptops, iPads, and iPhones, but a French New Wave film should really be experienced in the cinema, or watching a DVD, where you are fully committed to the experience and can't be distracted by clickbait, social media, or emails.
Oh, I agree. All these devices and apps have ruined young people's attention spans as well as what passes for entertainment. Take me, for instance. I contain all the wisdom on how to write compelling screenplays, but these days kids aren't interested in reading books. They just watch YouTube tutorials on how to TikTok or scroll through Reddit threads on how to get Twitch followers.
I know. I mean, no one even has the attention span anymore to watch an entire Aki Kaurismäki film. It's ridiculous.
Well, to be fair, Aki Kaurismäki box set, Finnish minimalist films are a bit mundane and hard to sit through.
Well, yeah, there's a difference between challenging your audience and boring them.
Sometimes I think you guys just don't understand Finnish minimalism. Aki Kaurismäki makes graceful and deeply humanist films that, while very tough, can also be beautiful.
That's a stretch.
No way, his films are tedious.
Come on, guys. Let's not argue. We need to respect one another's opinions. And besides, I think we can all agree that while Finnish minimalism has some merits, it really isn't in the same league as French New Wave.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Fair enough.
Great. You know, all this talk about the relationship between a film and its audience got me thinking. What did Truffaut and Godard and all the other French New Wave filmmakers expect from their audiences when they watch one of their films? Do you know anyone who might know the answer to that?
Professor Zahoots might know.
Great idea! We'll ask our friend Zahoots, tenured professor of cinema studies and film history at NYU. He'll know the answer.
Colin?
Hi, Professor Zahoots. My friends and I have another question.
How did French New Wave push the boundaries between a film and its viewer?
I wish I could help you, but I bumped my head again and it fuzzed up my memory real bad. I was reaching for my copy of Bertolt Brecht's The Modern Theater is the Epic Theater, but I must have knocked the bookshelf loose and all the hardcover books fell right on my head. Now I can't even remember why I was looking for Bertolt Brecht's The Modern Theater is Epic Theater in the first place.
Oh boy, you must have had a lot of big books fall on your head to fuzz up your memory that bad.
And what's worse, I'm supposed to teach a class on French New Wave and its influence and impact on contemporary cinema in half an hour, but I can't remember any contemporary filmmakers for whom French New Wave was a major influence. What am I gonna do?
Oh no! What are we gonna do? Do you think that we can help Professor Zahoots remember which contemporary filmmakers were influenced by the French New Wave? I'm a little hazy on films made after the 1970s. Great idea! Our friend Felipe, aspiring LA-based screenwriter currently looking for representation. He knows all about modern film.
Hi, Colin. I was just finishing the rewrite of my new screenplay. I'm hoping this one is good enough to land me an agent. What can I help you with?
My friends and I were wondering, do you know any contemporary filmmakers who were famously influenced by French New Wave?
That's a good question. Honestly, the influence of French New Wave is immeasurable, and you could argue there isn't a director today who wasn't influenced by French New Wave.
Sure, that goes without saying.
But if pressed, some examples of contemporary filmmakers whose work has been defined by the influence of French New Wave would have to be Wes Anderson, Sofia Coppola, Pedro Almodovar, Noah Baumbach, and... there was one more I wanted to mention. Who was it?
Uh-oh! Felipe's blanking. Do you know what contemporary filmmaker he might be thinking of?
Quentin Tarantino.
Yes! That's it! Quentin Tarantino!
Oh wow! Great work, gang! Did you get all that, Professor Zahoots?
I did, thanks. I think that was just what I needed to unfuzz my memory. All my knowledge of French New Wave and how it influenced modern cinema is coming back to me.
That's great!
I also remember why I wanted to read Bertolt Brecht's The Modern Theater is the Epic Theater. I wanted to read about his principle of the distancing effect, which aimed to remove the European convention of the fourth wall, thereby making it so that the audience could no longer remain under the illusion of being an unseen spectator.
Hey! Breaking the fourth wall was a defining element for a lot of French New Wave films. Is there any chance that Bertolt Brecht's theory influenced French New Wave filmmakers and how they wanted their films to be viewed by an audience?
It sure did. Bertolt Brecht's principle of the distancing effect was a major influence for French New Wave filmmakers and Jean-Luc Godard in particular. Godard modified the distancing effect for the cinema and, in a way, made the screen permeable so that the characters could interact with the audience, creating a dialogue between the screen and the spectator.
Whoa, that's really cool.
I think so too.
He would even have actors interrupt the film and separate themselves from their characters, which challenged the audience to think about what they were seeing on screen in a different way than the films that came before had.
This also meant that a spectator's acceptance or rejection of a character's actions and words was now taking place on a conscious plane rather than a subconscious one.
Wow, maybe I should use the distancing effect in my screenplay.
Now that sounds like a movie I'd like to watch.
Me too. Okay, thanks Professor Zahoots and Felipe.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Bye! Wow, I think that's pretty cool that French New Wave filmmakers hold their audience to such a high standard. I wonder who that could be.
Mail carrier Lou.
It's Mail Carrier Lou. Hi, Mail Carrier Lou.
Hey, Colin, I got your loose DVD delivery. Let's see what we have here. We got Je t'aime by Alain René. We got The Fire Within by Louis Malle and La Pointe Courte by Agnes Varda. Wait a sec. Didn't I just deliver these to you a few weeks ago?
Yes, I already own all those films. These ones are a birthday gift for my neighbor's 8-year-old kid.
That's great. What 8-year-old wouldn't want a few lesser known yet still classic French New Wave films for their birthday?
None that I know.
Yeah, it's just too bad the French New Wave film movement lost momentum so soon and kind of imploded on itself.
What do you mean?
I mean, you know, all the infighting and the movement dividing into fragments. Not to mention the criticism that some French New Wave films were too intellectual for the average audience and that many of them felt that their artistic ambitions were alienating.
But French New Wave is considered one of the most influential movements in the history of cinema.
Oh, absolutely. It's influential. I'm just saying that after the initial success of films like The 400 Blows and Breathless, there were a few French New Wave film flops. And critics used that as proof to show that French New Wave film had maybe been overhyped and run its course.
Bye, Mail Carrier Lou. You can leave the DVDs at the door.
Okay, will do. Bye, Colin. Hey!
L'expérience humaine, c'est d'errer tous vos jours, de ne rien savoir, de ne voyager qu'en tombant. L'homme court pour échapper à son univers de mensonges, pour trouver quelque chose d'incontestable. Mais il ne trouve que des questions. C'est ce qui le rapprochera le plus de la vérité.
It's just, I mean, to say that French New Wave is overhyped. It's Riley. Hi, Riley.
Hi, Colin. We're still setting up for Carol's birthday.
Oh, nice. Her birthday DVDs just arrived. Should I bring them over?
That'd be great. Actually, hold on. Carol has something she wants to tell you.
Hey, Colin.
Hi, Carol. Happy birthday. I hope it doesn't take 400 blows to blow out the candles on your birthday cake.
You say that every year.
I know. What's up?
My mom said that you said Truffaut wrote the story for Godard's film, Breathless.
That's right. He did.
I think it's cool that they were best friends and started French New Wave together. It's fun to do things with friends.
It is nice to do things with your friends. And if you're able to change the cinematic landscape with your friends, even better.
I agree.
I guess that's why it's so sad that Truffaut and Godard didn't stay friends forever.
What?
Francois Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard sadly stopped being friends in 1973 after a very public falling out.
They stopped being friends. Why?
Well, how do I put this? Sometimes two friends can disagree so intensely on the future of French cinema that it becomes virtually impossible for them to remain friends. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever had a big fight with a friend about the future of French cinema?
Yeah.
And did you stop being friends after that?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's what happened to Francois Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard. But at least we can be thankful that they were able to make so many great films before their friendship ended, right?
Yeah.
Now you go have fun. It's your birthday.
Okay, bye.
Bye. And Riley, I'll be over soon with Carol's birthday DVDs.
Great. See you soon.
See you soon. And I guess that means I'll see you next time. Wow, we sure did learn a lot about French New Wave today. Maybe next time we can talk about some of our other favorite cinematic New Wave movements. For instance, Japanese New Wave, Iranian New Wave, Polish New Wave, or even New Taiwan cinema. And we can talk about one of my favorites, Czechoslovak New Wave. Do you like Czechoslovak New Wave?
Yes. Because out of all the New Wave movements, it was one of the most fruitful, fascinating, and radical.
Yeah, you can say that again. Well, I'm gonna finish watching Breathless before I head over to Riley's house. So until next time, bye!
Well, we had a bonjour, the lesson is done, and you'll know we had beaucoup de fun. The film is through, now it's time for bed. Dreams of French New Wave all in your heads. I like Truffaut, Godard, Chabrol and Romain. And as I continue, you know they're getting sweeter. Va da René, de mi Rosier, Marlon Franjou, need I continue? Now, one last thing before we shut our eyelids. We'll see you next time on Truffaut for Kids. Yeah, we'll see you next time on Truffaut for Kids. Yeah, we'll see you next time on Truffaut for Kids. Yeah, we'll see you.
Sorry, Colin, you still there?